Welcome to Hustle and Flow with Heather Hubbard, episode 107. Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard, and I was a litigator, partner, and practice group leader at an AmLaw 200 firm. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your personal life. So how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you embrace your ambition without selling your soul? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Welcome back. I am your host, Heather Hubbard. Thank you so much for joining me this week and every week. I have some exciting news to share. A few weeks ago, we hit 100,000 downloads for the podcast, and that is thanks to you. I know that I get on here and record these, but if you weren't listening, I wouldn't be showing up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. To celebrate, you guys have been sharing messages of your favorite podcast episodes, and today's recording is from Renee.
Hey, Heather, it's Renee, and I am currently a legal assistant with aspirations to start my own business this year. So, I've been following you for a while, and I guess my favorite episode is the breaking habits, and I also like the goal setting because I've never really been a goal setter before, but you have inspired me to set some goals. And with using the Life and Law Planner, I have been able to achieve a couple goals. And yes, your episode on goal setting has definitely inspired me to set some goals. And by watching myself reach those small goals, it's inspiring me to set some more goals and helping me to look at the big picture and not try to jump into it full force and then land on my face and fail. So it's helping me succeed, and I really appreciate it, and it's helping me to move forward with enthusiasm.
Renee, thank you so much for listening, and I am so happy to hear that you love your Life and Law Planner. For those of you that don't yet have yours, we actually have a few left. We are almost out, but if you don't have yours, go grab one while you still can, lifeandlawplanner.com. Okay, so on to today's show. And it's not really just today's show, because this is the start of a 3-part series. Over the next 3 weeks, we are going to spend time focusing on the different career strategies that you should be focused on, depending on what stage you are in your career. So stage 1, and that's what we're going to cover today, is associates and service partners. And if you are a service partner, please don't get upset that I have put you in the same category as associates. You're going to understand why later, and I think you'll agree with me, but stay tuned because it's super helpful to know how you can best excel and get compensated the best in that service partner role. Okay, stage 2, and we'll be covering this next week in episode 108. Stage 2 is partners, right? So I get that a service partner is technically a partner, but I'm carving that out and putting that in stage 1 with this week. A stage 2 partner, they may be an income partner, they may be an equity partner. It really just depends on your firm. And so we'll get into that next week. But this is really what we're going to call a typical partner that is looking to grow their book of business. This is the vast majority of partners. Okay, then the 3rd week, episode 109, we're going to look at key rainmakers. Key rainmakers. There aren't a ton of these in each firm, but if that's what you want, then you're going to want to pay attention to that. So here's the thing. Let's say you are an associate, but you want to become a key rainmaker one day. Go ahead and listen to all 3 episodes. It'll be super helpful for you to see what you should be focusing on as your career progresses. But it'll also give you the information to focus on right now in this moment to help you get there. Okay? Because if you're focusing on where you want to be as opposed to where you are, you're going to get tripped up and you probably won't get there. It is definitely a building block, and you're going to find it very difficult to leapfrog these stages. I have seen associates who try to focus on being a partner. That generally doesn't work out that well for them. And I've also seen partners and many solo attorneys, honestly, try to jump to that key rainmaker category too fast. Okay, so we'll break all of this down over the next 3 weeks, but I'm really excited to share this because I have so many people come to me that often are focusing on the wrong thing for the stage of the career that they're in. But if you know where you are and you know where you want to go, by the way, you don't have to want to become a partner or a key rainmaker. It's perfectly okay to say that you don't want that. All right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with staying in stage 1 the rest of your career if that's what you want. I know as lawyers, as high achievers, we tend to think, well, if there is a stage 3 and I'm not trying to achieve stage 3, I must, be settling or not living into my fullest potential. We got to let that stuff go. You need to figure out what you want and then just focus on that. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about what you should be focusing on if you are in stage 1, which is you are an associate or you are a service partner. If you are in stage 1, your focus should be on serving. It's all about service, which is part of why service partners are in this category. Okay, so how do you serve? Well, first and foremost, you need to have really good skills. This is all about core competencies. So if you are a junior associate, you need to be focused on becoming a good attorney. If you don't have the foundational skills of being an attorney, that's a problem. You're not going to do well in your firm, and you're going to really struggle to move to the partner or key rainmaker stage. You're also going to struggle even if you go in-house or go solo, because if you don't understand how to be a good attorney, it's really hard to get and keep clients. Many firms now have core competency lists. It's part of how you are evaluated each year. If your firm has that, right? If your firm has core competencies, you want to make sure that you are doing all of those really well and that you're getting those opportunities. If you're not getting the opportunities that will allow you to develop those core competencies, you have to take charge. You have to go have conversations with your practice group leader or whoever else is in charge of that at your firm to say, hey, I'm not getting this experience and I know it's important and I need it and I have to have it. And if they push back and just say, well, we really need you to just focus on your work, heads up, this is not going to be a good fit for you long term. That is an indication that your firm does not care about you. They care about revenue and getting the work done. Now, all firms care about revenue. All firms care about getting the work done, but you need them to also be invested in you if you want to have a long-term career there. That said, if you've barely touched each of the core competencies and you're saying, well, I need these other opportunities, it could be that they're not going to give you those opportunities until you've really shown that you have learned those other skills. So for example, if you struggle with written discovery or anything around that, you're probably not going to get an opportunity to take a deposition because you're not going to be trusted to go in and do that. So really pay attention to those core competencies and it's not just a box you check, right? So it's not just, oh, I did this. You need to make sure that you're doing it well. And you may think you are doing it well, but if the partners are telling you that you're not, right? If you're not getting good evaluations around things, or if you're actually graded on a scale related to your core competencies and they're low, then you really have to double down and figure that out. Get a mentor that's older than you, probably a senior associate, to really help you hone those skills. If your firm does not have a core competency list, or you suspect that it's something that maybe the professional development director came up with and the partners don't really buy into it, and it's not really how you're compensated or promoted, then what you need to do is figure out, what are the real core competencies? And the way that you do that is you ask. You ask the partners that you're working with, like, what's most important to you? Have lunches with them, have coffees with them, or just go in their office and have conversations around, at this level in my career, what do you think are the most important skills that I need? Where should I be focusing on developing my skill set? That's going to give you your list of core competencies that you really need to be focused on. When you're going to CLEs, when you're going to conferences, anything like that, you really should be focused on developing your skills and your core competencies. At this point, it's really not about networking or getting business. If you are an excellent attorney, that's what's going to give you additional opportunities. In fact, if you are an excellent attorney, it's what's going to lead you to have the opportunity to be a service partner if that's what you want. There are many attorneys who have no desire to grow a book of business. The last thing they want to do is market themselves and sell themselves or others. They just want to be lawyers. They just want to do good work. Well, I have great news. Most firms have spots for service partners. Now, some don't. Some tend to push you out if you're not developing business. But I have found that most firms absolutely have room for service partners. They need and want service partners. Okay. So you just got to figure out, is there actually a place in your firm for that? A service partner is also serving, and in both instances, whether you are an associate or a service partner, you are mostly serving the partner in charge of the case, right? Whether it's the relationship attorney, the one who brought it in, whatever, you are serving that person. Now, you may be saying, well, I'm an associate, or more likely, I'm a service partner, and I deal directly with the client. So the client is who I'm serving, not the other partner. Well, I get that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't provide great customer service. But if you decide to leave tomorrow and start your own law firm or go to another law firm, is that client going with you? And if the answer to that is no, then it doesn't matter that you're the one that has all the conversations with that client. You are still serving the partner who they see as their lead attorney. And I get that for some of you that may be infuriating because the lead attorney may not be doing that much, right? It often is the service partner, if there's a setup like that, that's doing the vast majority of the work, maybe even interfacing with the client. And again, you are serving the client, but at the end of the day, the person that you are truly serving and the way that you get more opportunities to be on those cases, the way that you are going to get compensated and promoted and seen as a key member of the team is through serving the lead partner, not serving the client. Now, presumably, the lead partner wants you to serve the client well. So that's where that comes in. But that's not really your main client. The main client is the lead partner. So what does that mean? It means that you want to make your lead partner's life as easy as possible. It means producing mostly error-free work so they don't have to redo your stuff. Now, like as an associate, if your work is redone a lot, you might be able to get away with that because depending on your age, you're still learning. I can assure you at the service partner level, well, you would never even become a service partner. At the service partner level, if they're having to redo your work, you're not going to be staffed on cases anymore and you're going to be looking for another career path. It's all about excellence, being an excellent attorney and producing excellent work product. And that work product could be in the form of depositions, oral arguments. It doesn't mean that you're doing necessarily grunt work, but what it means is that you're allowing the lead partner to focus on other things and keep the client happy by you really making that lead partner look great by being an excellent attorney. It also means that you do a great job of keeping that lead attorney aware of what's going on with a case. So they're never in the dark. You're not inundating them with so much information that they might as well be doing the work themselves. but you keep them up to date. When you have a question where you know they need to be involved, that's when you involve them. At each step of the way, you bring them in when it's important and necessary, and allows them to trust you to run with matters, to run with the case. That's where you are truly seen as a key member of their team. It's also why associates who are super responsive, service partners who are super responsive, available to jump on things and really be at the whim or the beck and call of that lead attorney, because they've probably got a lot more on their plate. So when you can cater to their schedule and really make it easy for them to hand things off to you, that's where you're going to really be serving and excelling. Okay, so we have skills and core competencies. We have serving the lead partner, making their life easier. And then we have execution and efficiency. Now, we already mentioned doing excellent work, mostly error-free, but unless you are at a firm where you can basically churn the file and your client's going to pay whatever you bill, you also have to be efficient. So you can't spend all the time in the world creating this amazing error-free work product if the attorney is then having to mark down your time because they can't bill the client for it. Now, we've had many discussions about how I kind of hate the billable hour, mostly because I think it's borderline unethical in that it promotes inefficiency. So we're not talking about that. I get that you can be so efficient that some partners will not like that because they will have budgeted for you to have spent more time on something, which impacts, overall collections and revenue for a matter. But I genuinely believe that the best way to grow as an attorney is to be the best version of yourself. And if you can be super efficient and get the same results, I do think that you need to focus more on the efficiency piece and not padding that bill, because that's just not the kind of lawyer I want to be. And I would hope if you're the kind of person that listens to my podcast, it's not the kind of attorney you want to be either. We're here to make a difference in the legal industry, to turn it around so that it's not this cutthroat 24/7 workaholic, industry. So that begins with us. It starts with us, and go be efficient. And you can still hit your billable hours. There's plenty of work to be done. Okay, bit of an aside, but just needed to mention that. The other reason why efficiency matters is if you become a service partner, oftentimes you're the one that is overseeing the rest of the team. So if you are a service partner that is on a litigation team, or if you are a service partner that's heading up a corporate deal, you may very well be almost like the quasi-project manager and budgeting for what's needed when by all of the different people working on the matter. So learning how to be efficient with your time is really important so that you can manage that team. And because your hourly rate is going to be really high, again, it's going to be important that your work is efficient, or you know when to hand things off to other attorneys, right? So again, we're going to get to partners next week. They have all kinds of issues and sometimes will hoard work for themselves. A service partner doesn't have that same luxury. So a service partner can't hoard all the work and be doing lower level tasks when there is someone else on the team that can be doing it, simply because it's going to impact numbers and not make that lead partner that you're serving happy. And they're going to find someone else to be doing that work if you're not properly managing it and delegating and assigning it to who really needs to be doing it. Now, the only exception to this is the type of service partner that is so niched that they have an expertise no one else has, right? So this is where you're not really part of the deal team. You're not really part of the litigation team. They only bring you in on very specific parts of a matter, and you are advising on that very narrow piece. In that sense, your hourly rate is probably way high, and no one, including the client, is probably really expecting you to be super efficient because it's all about your expertise and it's all about the execution of excellent work product and getting it right. So in that sense, it goes back to what we were talking about at the very beginning. It's all about skills and core competencies. And this is really what you focus on in an evaluation. You want to focus on your skills and your core competencies. You want to focus on the type of work that you're doing, the partners that you're working with, how you are trying to think a few steps ahead. You're moving from simply executing on the tasks that are given to you to really learning how to manage that case, how to think ahead, how to really think through a matter. You want to focus on the execution piece. You want to focus on having great work product where your partners aren't really having to redo that much or revise that much. And you want to focus on the efficiency piece. You know when to leverage assistants and paralegals and other associates under you, and the lead partner's not having to write off much or any of your time. And you may be thinking, well, that's a given, right? We should be doing this, but you would be surprised. You would be surprised. And a lot of times the people that are doing your evaluations, whether it is a professional development director involved or a practice group leader involved or some other administrative function, if they've never really worked with you, all they can go by is the evaluation that is received. And depending on the way it's written, it may not actually elicit that type of information. So you being able to show up to say, like, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and I think this is going well, this is what I'm doing, and being able to give concrete examples is going to be a great way for you to show your value. That said, the partners that you're working with, if you are doing all of these things, that partner that you're serving, they're always going to want you on their team, always. And that's what gives you the ability to either progress on your path to partnership, or if you're a service partner, to have that lead partner who's constantly going to give you work to fill your plate, because that is the last piece. That is the last piece of stage one. And that is, it's all about staying busy. It's all about staying busy. If you were an associate, if you were a service partner, what the firm really cares about is either, or likely both, how many hours have you billed and how much money have you collected? If you're one of those specialized service partners, your billable hours probably don't have to be as high, although they're going to expect that you generate more income on your collections. But I can assure you, if you are spending a ton of non-billable time going to firm meetings or being on the summer associate, taking everyone out for their lunches, or you're whining and dining prospects, right? Like if you're doing all of those things, in your mind, you may say, well, I worked this much and I'm doing all of these things. That's not where you need to be focused at this stage in your career. And not only will it probably not be appreciated, it could become a sore subject. It could become something that holds you back because they don't think you are a good attorney and focusing on what matters, which for them is you billing hours at this stage in your career. Same with being a service partner. If that's the role that you want and that's the role that you're in and you're doing a bunch of non-billable hours, that's not going to help you come compensation time. If you have no desire to build a book of business, but you really enjoy going to some of these conferences, right? Because you've got a lot of friends that you've met over the years and that you've built up. That's okay if you want to go and do that. But just know that the firm is not going to appreciate or understand or agree that you put in all of these hours of going to do this because that's not your role. You're not developing business. You're just serving the lead partners and executing on the work that needs to be done. And let me just say this about service partners because it often gets overlooked. In my mind, service partners are the truest, best lawyers out there. Like if we're just talking about being a lawyer, they are the best lawyers out there. They have the expertise and the amount of time that they spend lawyering automatically allows them to be better lawyers because they have more experience under their belt, even if they've been practicing the same amount of time as a partner focusing on business development or even a key rainmaker. So I just say that so that if that's all you really want to do is be an amazing attorney, because that's a huge accomplishment, and you want to be a service partner and your firm has a place for you to do that, the more willing you are to have those frank conversations on the front end and every single year, the happier everyone will be because everyone's on the same page and you will be compensated appropriately, as opposed to potentially being dinged for not developing business when if you all agree on the front end that that's not what you're doing, it totally changes that conversation and the landscape. Now, if you're an associate and you want to become a partner or you want to become a key rainmaker, that's awesome. That's cool too. Everybody gets to do what they want. Every role is needed. You might want to go back and listen to episode 67, How to Be a Rockstar Associate, and episode number 28, Path to Partnership. And you're definitely going to want to come back and listen to episode 108 and 109 once they're released so that you have a preview of what is to come, because you don't just step from one stage to the next, right? There is definitely a transition period. So you kind of want to know when you're getting close so that you can start to transition into it and you understand that, you've kind of got one foot in one and one foot in the other. And if you're a service partner where you struggle to know how you can really excel within your firm because maybe there is an expectation of business development, you're going to want to listen to episode 109 because the advice I'm going to give to those partners is something that you're going to be interested in and something that you may be able to use to leverage your strategy and approach as well. So I'll be mentioning a few nuggets in there for you. Again, that's going to be episode 109. All right. So that is stage one for your career strategy. You just want to serve that lead partner. Focus on your skills, your expertise, execution, and efficiency. And if you are looking to find support from other attorneys who are also in stage one like you, just to have a support group, to have a group of other attorneys where it's a safe place to show up and ask questions and really learn and grow and focus on your personal and professional development, I highly encourage you to fill out the interest form for a legal mastermind. So you can just go to legalmasterminds.com. We are always gathering interest. And once we have a group that works, we curate that and put it together. So again, if you are interested, it doesn't hurt to put your name on the interest form. It doesn't obligate you to anything. And we may not be able to come up with a group for you, but the only way to find out is to actually submit the interest form. So you can do that at legalmasterminds.com. All right, that's it for this week. And I will see you next week with stage 2 for career strategies. I am super excited to announce that the Life and Law Planner is officially here. It is more than just a calendar. It is a full planning system. If you want to take back your days, your weeks, your months, and your year, order your planner now. It will completely change your life and help you accomplish your biggest goals. There's only a limited quantity available, so go to lifeandlawplanner.com and order yours today.